In this video, we're going to write some queries to pull data about users and roles, and I will explain what I mean by query writing for detectives. At one point in my life, I taught SQL query writing to software support analysts. And a lot of that training was intended to prepare them for investigating software issues for customers. When a customer would call in with a problem, and after they explained the problem, it was a very common next step for the analyst to try to quickly find some information in the database by writing queries. And I'm going to write queries using that approach in this video. You query one table, you get some information that you need, then you go on to the next table, and you write another query, you get some more information, and you go on to the next table, etc. So, in a way, you're kind of like a detective, hot on the trail. You're finding clues and continuing on. So usually in that situation, they're going to have some kind of an idea of what they're looking for. They'll have a starting point, and then they'll have one or more goals in mind as they gather their clues. So for simplicity's sake, I'm going to demonstrate this approach for two separate goals. First, we want to find out the role assignment for one specific user. And second, that we want to find all users who are assigned to a certain role. So, for the first goal, show the role assigned to a given user. I'm going to say, I want to know if Robert Johnson is assigned to a role, and if so, which role. So, first I need to think about my strategy. What's my plan here? I'm going to get the user's ID first thing. Then I'll hunt through the role assignments table for a record having that user ID. If I find one, then I know that that user is assigned to a role, so I'll see what the role ID is. And once I have the role ID, it's just a matter of looking in the role table to see which role has that ID. So I'm going to start then by looking up Robert Johnson. Select star from Moodle user where username equals R. Johnson. I'll check the Retain Query Box checkbox and click Go. And so if you were a troubleshooting detective, you might copy all of this and paste it into Notepad or Excel just so you've got it for reference. But what we're really interested in here is the ID value, which is 3. I'm going to use a comment to make a note of that, and that's just a handy way to keep that information on screen as I continue running queries. As we discovered in the last video, role assignments are stored in the role assignments table. So next, we want to query role assignments and see if there are any records having a user ID equal to 3. So select star from MDL role assignments where user ID equals 3. And we can see here that, yes, there is one record. Hopefully, you also remember that the value here in the role ID field refers back to the role table and points at the role record that the user was assigned to. So the next logical step to solve our mystery is to query the role table to see which role has an ID of 2. So select star from Moodle role where ID equals 2. And it becomes clear that Robert Johnson was assigned to the course creator role, which is absolutely correct. Now I'm going to clear the query window and let's forget all about that because it's time to take on the second goal. Let's say we want to find out all users who are assigned to a specific role. And since I've only assigned users to the course creator role, I'd better go with that one. What do you think the plan of attack should be? I think I am going to look in the role table and find the ID for the course creator role. Then once I've got that, I'm going to look in the role assignments table and see if there are any records in there having that role ID. And if there are, then I'm going to see what the user ID values are. And then I'll query the user table to find the records having those IDs. So first, select star from Moodle role where short name equals course creator. And the ID for the course creator role is 2. Next, I'll check to see if there are any role assignments having a role ID of 2. So select star from role assignments where role ID equals 2. And we get 2 records in the result set, meaning 2 users are assigned to the course creator role, and they're the users that have user ID values of 3 and 4. So finally, I'm going to query for the user information for those users with select star from user where ID in parentheses 3, 4, close parentheses. And this is something new that we haven't talked about yet. In allows you to search for multiple matches in the where clause, and it works just like this. Now you can see that we've brought back 2 records, one for the ID of 3 and another for the ID of 4. Now in this example, we're matching against the ID field, which is an integer data type, so there's no need for any quotes. But if we were to match against a varchar, like last name, then you would need quotes. So I'll enter some last names here in single quotes and separated by a comma and run that just as another example. And once again, we have solved the mystery. So nice detective work. And you may end up by using this detective work style of query writing a lot. And that is the power of foreign key relationships. Once you get started, you can follow that trail from one table to another until you find what you're looking for. In the next video, let's see if we can run these queries in our Moodle plugin as I introduce you to a couple more Moodle functions.